Well, this is a cute plant. Let's just read about it. Zones 6 through 9. What does that mean? Let's talk about it. That's right, today we're talking about plant hardiness zones, which are really confusing for newer gardeners. But even if you are an experienced gardener and you think you know what the zones mean, there's a few other nuances to it that we're going to talk about that I think you can learn from. So the cold hardiness zones are a resource put out by the USDA, and it's meant to help you find plants that will actually grow in your geographic region. So what they've done is they've taken weather data across many decades, and they have found what the average coldest temperature that everywhere in the country is going to experience on any given winter. And then they created a handy map and guide to let you know which part of the country and pertains to what zone. The lower number the zone is, the colder it will get in the winter, and the higher number the zone is, the warmer it will stay in the winter. So these could range anywhere from like zone 2, where it's extremely cold in the winter, all the way down to zone 12, where it rarely, if ever, freezes. So once you know what zone you live in, you can look at a plant tag and say, wow, this actually matches the zone where I live. So there's a chance that that plant will do well for you. Now, remember, I'm saying there's a chance. It's not a guarantee that the plant will grow for you, even if it's in your zone. And that's because the cold hardiness zones are only looking at one factor, and that is the cold temperature in winter. There are so many other factors that contribute to a plant's health that this cold hardiness zone doesn't take a look at all. So those factors include things like the pH of the soil, whether it's acid or alkaline. Also the heat that your area experiences, whether or not it gets super hot in the summer. And it also does not consider the average rainfall for your area. And we know that in different parts of the country, it's going to be wildly different. So those are just some of the limitations when you are looking at the zones. Now, another thing to consider that a lot of newer gardeners get caught up on is zones don't matter at all when it comes to annuals. Now, annuals are a plant that you grow for a season. So a lot of people will grow these, say from spring to fall, and these are gonna be your blooming plants that you put in the landscape or in a container, and you have to replace them every year. For example, if you look up the cold hardiness zone, say for a caladium plant, it's gonna say that it's zones 9 through 11. Does that mean if you live in zone 6, you can't grow caladiums? Absolutely not. You can still grow caladiums, but you're going to treat them as an annual, which means you're going to replace them each year. And lastly, the cold hardiness zones are only considering the average winter temperatures of any given area. It does not factor in those extreme years where you have extreme cold, which would be like either 50 or 100-year winter storms. So even if you have a plant that is rated for your zone, if you have an extreme winter event, you still have the potential of losing that plant to cold. So yes, it's important to know what zone you live in, and it's important to learn those plants that work in your zone, but make sure you keep it with a grain of salt.